Hello, you bald, angry Ashen men yelling "Ares" all the time. Jim Sterling here, and this is Gears of War 3 Remastered. I love the PS4 sharing function. It makes things so much easier. What I did is I collected a whole bunch of footage, which I've compiled, and I'm going to talk about it now.
You'll be back, Spartan. Did you miss me?
Next time. Really does sound like Dr. Claw. Anyway, so as I say, I've played through this for review. At the time of recording this, I beat the game. For the first time, actually. I played it back in the day, but as I explained in my review on thejimquisition.com, I was kind of burnt out on these types of games back when it was out. But there's been such a break since God of War 3 that I felt re-energized and got really back into it and enjoyed myself. So, recorded a whole bunch of footage, as I say. I'm recording this after the fact, so this isn't live things like a lot of Squid, but it's similar to the video I did for Bloodborne, you know, and Hyrule Warriors. It's just easier for me to do console recording that way. As I say, I love the PS4 share thing. Just lets me get screenshots from my reviews and video stuff just so much more easily than setting up fucking capture boxes and a computer over there. Like, it's too much effort, thanks. Too much. This is much better. Plus, people really like the Bloodborne video. It's sort of a more casual kind of chat because the gameplay's already done. Don't mind that, that's just me forgetting things. Forgetting that I needed the bow to shoot the fire at it. But anyway, we're having a bit of a crawl on a chain. As you can see, I mean, it's God of War 3, but in 1080p and 60 frames per second. It's hard to say that's a remaster. I think something like the... It's a tough situation because unlike something like DMC4 where they actually did gameplay improvements and things, this really is more just an upscale rather than what you would imagine a remaster is. However, this game being 5 years old and still looking and playing as great as it does, it's certainly a more worthy candidate for the remaster phenomenon that's been going on lately than something like Tomb Raider or even The Last of Us. You know, fine games, but very recent and really not benefiting too much from any upscaling. But this one in particular, you know, just still looks really good and there's enough of a gap from when it was originally out to where it's worth revisiting, and I certainly loved my time playing with it again. And it's made me hungry for more God of War. As with all God of War games, everything's an effort. Opening chests requires straining and muscles, just... Opening doors is always a case of... Always straining. I dread to think how many hernias he has. And the hemorrhoids. Kratos' anus must just be a tube sock at this point. Not, even worse than that, leggings. Red raw bacon leggings. That's his anus. I've amused myself with that thought. Anyway, here I am. I was kind of getting back into the groove at this point, so I not quite as you see, not quite as responsive as I should be. I get better as I go along. Promise. Not brilliantly, but better. These fucking Medusas stop whipping me. I say Medusas, Gorgons. There's only one Medusa. In fact, I even fuck up the QT the first time because I was still getting used to everything. Getting reacclimated, as it were. Don't fuck it up this time, though. I love the textures on the snake body. Like those corn snakes that they bring into school when I was a kid on, like, fate days or whatever. And they'd let you hold the snake. And they were always that colour, the ones you could hold. Very pretty colour for a snake. Doing the old chargey move there. Never get bored of doing that move. Of course, this game is obviously high profile and exciting, and it's good to play it again. A little more questionable is the prototype remaster that's come out recently. That just appeared out of nowhere yesterday. That was weird as fuck. Prototype 1 and Prototype 2, like, I think it's like $50 or something on Xbox One, and it's either on now or coming to soon to PS4, just digitally released with no advertising whatsoever. I think a trailer finally went up for it, but real stealth release, stealthier than fucking D4, I'd say. Weird. If they were trying to make a bit more money off that franchise, then not promoting it at all seems a bit weird. Anyway, we've cut forward a bit to the... where are we? The judges. Judges of the old underworld. So I've compiled various bits of my playthrough. You know, because the PS4 records in 15-minute chunks. And I don't sit there with a stopwatch or anything. I just play for a bunch, think, oh, well, that's probably cool what I just played. People might enjoy looking at that for a minute, and then I just hit the share button and save it, and then put it to my computer later. Tricks of the trade. Not really a trick, it's not really exciting or interesting at all what I just told you. But anyway, here we are, we're completing the trials of Olympus, as you do. It's basically more fighting. That's the answer to everything in Olympus. Is there a problem? Yes, the problem is fighting. How do we solve the problem? With fighting. It's very much like God Ho and his movies and ninjas. Godfrey Ho's movies were always, the problem is ninjas, the solution is ninjas. It's like this, but ninjas replaced with brutal, sadistic violence. Incredibly vicious. But, you know, that's the fun of the fair, isn't it? So we're just hacking at hands and people. Because that's fun. I was saying in my review, I've got an admiration for the God of War series, in spite of its flaws. Like I said, it's everything big budget games stand for, and I mean that as both the good and the bad, because it's, you know, obviously well polished, beautiful to look at, empowering. You know, it's as high quality gets. It's also just thoroughly sadistic with an unlikable protagonist who's just a complete cock. It's a game about dickheads being dickheads to each other, with, you know, characters like Pandora and that as just window dressing and MacGuffins. But at the same time, I admire the purity of it. It's not pretentious, it's not trying to do anything overly clever. It doesn't reach beyond its means. As a series, it really is just, you are this angry dude and you are hacking stuff up. And then nowadays, most video games are that. But back then, this sort of was the codifier of that. It's almost like the Jerry Seinfeld effect, where people think Jerry Seinfeld is this kind of example of everything tired in sitcoms, when it was actually kind of the creator of a lot of those tropes that are now old-fashioned. So it's not, it was I won't say innovative, but it was certainly a driving force of the genre in its day. But people sort of have seen so many examples in the genre copying it that it's become archaic. I don't think that's quite true of God of War, just for the fact that its actual mechanical combat and shit is a rarity these days. It's more just the general style of the narrative and the premise and everything. Again, still just trying to get my chops together at this point. First time fighting the minotaurs. but they are fun to fight. I like fighting the minotaurs. Just not even necessary at that point. He could have just gave it a quick stab, but I think he deliberately, like, because we've seen how strong this dude is. He can, like, lift up fucking titan limbs and hold up temples that are falling on him. I refuse to believe he's struggling that much with the Minotaur when it's trying to hold his sword, like, blade away from its mouth. But Kratos is doing it on purpose, just prolonging it. Like, he wants the Minotaur fucking terrified. Putting in a poor performance against this Gorgon here. It's the same with the way he fights, like, defeats the bosses in this game. Just the level of unwarranted sadism is... I mean, it's hilarious. But hell, I mean, even I winced at the... I didn't put this in the video, but the way he deals with Hermes. Like, even I was, as someone who loves, you know, I like a lot of films that are called, you know, somewhat disparagingly torture porn, all that stuff, you know, Hostel, Saw, all that stuff. I'm a big horror movie fan, but even I was looking at the Hermes bit going, ooh, well, that's a bit much. not in an overly critical way, just I was, it made me shudder. Ooh, vicious stuff, but as I say, again, didn't need to do any of that. Could have just stabbed her up a bit. But yeah, I never did review this originally back in the day, which contributed to my not ever getting around to beating it. Because when I was working for Destructoid, that's when this came out. When I was with Destructoid, like I was so fucking busy all the time that it was hard to justify playing games just for fun. And it's still that a little bit. I still struggle to find time to play games for fun, and if I'm not reviewing it, I don't really get the opportunity to get through it all the way. So I did enjoy having that opportunity to finally get this one beat. Because Nick Chester reviewed it back in the day. He loved it. So here we are, this is the run-up to the fight with Hades. I recorded the Hades boss fight because why not? It's a fun boss fight, and I figured, you know, it'd be fun to have a boss fight in the video.
Kratos, so glad you could carve out some time for us. You know, we need it. I sense some bad blood between us, Kratos. Oh, all the memories. They're overwhelming, really. Let's see. How many sins have you committed against me? Oh, that's right. You murdered my niece, Athena. And what else? What else? And you killed my brother, Poseidon. And I have not forgotten that it was you who butchered my beautiful queen. I will see you suffer as I have suffered. Your soul is mine.
Okay. I'm a sucker for good vocal effects in voice acting, and I love the vocal effects on Hades. The Legion-y, echo-y voice they've given him. I love all that stuff. Probably spans from my love of ELO as a band. The amount of times that ELO used vocoders and things. Anyway, here we are just wailing on Hades for a bit. Never did quite nail the timing down of that. Yeah. I mean, boss fights these days often seem they're not as popular as they used to be, do you find? Like, a lot of games just seem to eschew them now. Not all of them, I mean, obviously you've got games like Bloodborne and everything. But, I don't know. These days I often see games that you feel like they would have boss fights in them, but they don't. And then stuff like this really reminds me just how wonderful a good boss fight can be, you know? Just the scale of it and the stages it goes through. And if that's one thing to say of God of War is, they know how to rock a boss fight. It truly feels like an event, as opposed to just another stepping stone, another hindrance in the game. Just rolling around all the time. That's basically my tactic with God of War, is just smash buttons and roll around when I think it's time to roll around. It's not the most effective tactic, but it gets me through. I muddle through, not elegantly, but to completion, which is how I handle a lot of things. Lol, sex. Damn, I recorded a lot of footage here. So I've got to try and talk through it all. Taking a few cheap shots. Again, punished for it. Oh my god, Jim, just fucking dodge properly, you fool. There we go, that's a bit better. Nah, you idiot. I'm retroactively having a pop at myself now. Nasty stuff. Delightfully icky mechanic for a boss fight. Just trying to destroy bits of a big dude's meat while it's slithering back towards him. Kill the belly meat. I mean, that's really the message I think God of War tried to teach us all. You gotta kill the belly meat. Yoing, 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 with the arrows. I like how the animations for Hades' attacks are things that you get when you eventually get his weapon. Spoiler warning. Actually ended up using the Blades of Hades for most of the game. Until I got Heracles' gauntlets. Just because I've always loved the elegant flow of the chain-based swords that make up most of God of War's combat. But some of the enemies are just such pricks that you just want to punch them in the face. And Heracles' gauntlets were good for that. It gave you a more tactile sort of, you know, up-front way of fighting. Because the blades are a little impersonal. Elegant and, you know, beautifully nasty looking in how they slice through the air, but now this bit, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Again, I'd played this, but it was 5 years ago. Couldn't quite remember what I was doing, so I fuck up a bit here. But again, I muddle through.
Your pain is mine. I enjoy listening to your pain.
Making a dog's dinner of it. Again though, just cool. Like, this is one fight, and it's gone through so many different stages, you know. Don't worry, I do eventually drag him into the thing. It's coming. Any second now. There we go. See? Told you I'd do it. It really is a game for dicks. There we are, got the blades. Love that weapon. I'm a big fan of summon-y type abilities, like summoning stuff. And this lets you do that. As you power it up, you get to use your magic meter to like use the souls of monsters that will just spawn and attack stuff, which is cool. And there we go, the final bit. There's actually a little cut in the recording because I forgot about this bit. So I stopped and saved the video and then realised, oh shit, it's come back, so... But that edited together quite well, so you wouldn't have noticed it possibly if I hadn't have just pointed it out. An ugly fucker, isn't he? And again, just I have to point out, this was one fight. I never nailed avoiding the sweep of his arm. Because again, my default is to just slap the right stick whenever I see an attack and just hope I dodge it. As observed there. Great visual design for the Hades as well. A lot of the other gods just look like, you know, your typical Olympian gods. All hair and glistening torsos. They did a good job with Hades. A lot of the, you know, the more monstrous designs overall are really good. Okay, I'm gonna scurry up his big old back. Dun, 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 dun. And that'll be this fucker dealt with. Done. As Kratos continues his what is basically a genocide. Really. I want a big statue of me like that Hades one. Just sat bulbous and nude on a throne, with a big doorway going through my crotch. I feel that would be a good look for me, and I feel that you will agree. So we've skipped ahead now to the fight against Kronos. Just got a few selected bits from this fight because I like it. Few games really nail this sense of scale, you know? Just there is a huge amount of scale in this bit.
There is no escape.
Obviously this video is better if you don't mind seeing a lot of content from the game. Because this is a fairly late portion. Here I am with those aforementioned gauntlets. Big fan of the gauntlets. They amuse me. That bit up.
Be still, Spartan.
This bit's also fucking horrible. I do warn you, if you've got a sensitive constitution, you might want to look away when the fingernail gets involved. There's your fair warning. As you can see, the game has skeletons in it, which is important. I hate those swervy joystick QTEs. Look at me saying joystick like it's the fucking 90s. Analog stick. Those analog stick QTEs. Go on, run! Get over there! Ugh. Yeah, that is bits of his fingernail falling away, revealing all the blood underneath of his finger. It's fun, isn't it? Ah, fucking skeletons. Okay, yeah, this is the bit there. It's a little bit. I mean, to be honest, Kronos took that quite well. Like, I think I'd do a lot more than just end up going, "You little bastard," if someone pulled my entire fingernail off. This is another skip ahead. Still the same fucking fight. Like, it goes on for ages as you, like, battle your way up above, like, all over the dude's body. Should have kept the hammer. Kratos never keeps any weapons when he rips them off, guys. But dude, he would do so much with that giant fucking meat tenderizer there. He just kind of uses it and then just throws it aside. Waste. Wasteful. That's Kratos' big problem. Doesn't appreciate nothing. There we are, more skeletons. Games are always better when they've got skeletons in them. It is important that games have calcium. So much roaring and yelling and screaming. I may have had the weapon fully leveled at this point. Can't remember. It was at least like stage, like penultimately leveled or something. Just doing some hangy combat. Of course, fun fact is Kratos shouldn't be able to see at this point because this is in Tartarus, and Tartarus is supposed to be a land completely without light. So there. Just something for you. Actually ended up reading a whole bunch of Greek mythology stuff on Wikipedia while playing this, just because I tend to get interested in mythology. I like mythology, and I like rereading bits of old mythology. Norse mythology is my favourite, but Greek's good too. But Greek makes me angry sometimes, Greek mythology. Just because the amount of Deus Ex Machina and convoluted shit in it. Like, I was expressing my rage this weekend when I was reading about Hades and the kidnapping of Persephone and all that stuff. You know, because she ate a flower or whatever it was, so that meant Hades could come and kidnap her because why not? And Zeus, who was perfectly fine with it, because of course he was, because he was a prick, reneged on his decision that he was okay with it when someone else got upset about it, like her father, I think it was. So he was like, well, okay, I'll send Hermes over there to get her back. I fucked that bit up because I was too busy fighting skeletons. But anyway, Zeus was like, right, I'll get Hermes to get her back. Oh, I included the sex scene just so that I could pretend I was above the sex scene while raking in page views for showing the sex scene. It's pure blatant hypocrisy, clickbaity page view bullshittery. But anyway, back to this whole thing, right? So Hermes gets sent to Hades to get Persephone back from Hades, and he couldn't because Hades had given Persephone pomegranate seeds. She'd eaten 6 pomegranate seeds, and that meant she couldn't leave Hades. Why? Why? That is more contrived than an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Load of fucking bullshit.
Jealous of our mistress.
Fucking Greek mythology. These two ain't eating pomegranate seeds. Fucking pomegranate seeds. Who came up with that fucking idea? Why were they sacred to the underworld? Why? Tell me!
Gods have truly blessed you, Kratos.
Fucking pomegranate seeds.